Hello. Alcatraz vs. Eagle Librarians, Chapter 3, page 33. Now, I said, holding up a finger, I want to make something very clear. I do not believe a word of what you have told me up to this point. Understood, Grandpa Smedley said. I'm only going with you because someone just tried to kill me. You see, I'm a somewhat reckless boy, and not always prone to carefully considering the consequences of my actions. Smedley trait for certain, Grandpa Smedley noted. In fact, I said, I think that you are a loon, and likely not even my grandfather at all. Very well, then, Grandpa Smedley said, smiling. I paused as the old car turned a corner, moving with a very smooth speed. We were leaving the neighborhood behind, turning onto a commercial street. We began to pass convenience stores, service stations, and the occasional fast food restaurant. It was at that point that I realized Grandpa Smedley had taken his hands off the wheel, sometimes during the conversation, and now sat with his hands in his lap, smiling happily. I jumped in surprise. Grandpa, I yelled, the steering wheel. Drastic freaks, Grandpa Smedley explained. I nearly forgot. He grabbed the steering wheel as the car turned another corner. Grandpa Smedley proceeded to turn the wheel back and forth, seemingly in random directions, as a child might play with a toy steering wheel. The car didn't respond to his motions, but moved smoothly along the street, picking up speed. Good eye, lad, Grandpa Smedley said. Who is that to keep up appearances, eh? Yes, I said. Is the car driving itself, then? Of course. What good would it be if it didn't? Why, you'd have to concentrate so much that it wouldn't be worth the effort. Might as well walk, I say. Right, I thought. Those of you from Free Kingdoms might be familiar with cinematic engines and can perhaps determine how they could be used to mimic a car. Of course, if you're from the Free Kingdoms, you probably have only a vague idea what a car is in the first place, since you're used to much larger vehicles, kind of like a cinematic crawler with wheels instead of legs, though people treat them more like horses, only unlike horses, they aren't alive, and when they poop, environmentalists get mad. So I asked, where are we going? There's only one place librarians would have taken an artifact as powerful as the Sands of Rashid, Grandpa Smedley said, their local base of operations. That would be the library? Where else? The downtown library, to be exact. We'll have to be very careful infiltrating that place. I cocked my head. I've been there before. Last I checked, it wasn't too hard to get in. We don't have to just get in, Grandpa Smedley said. We have to infiltrate. And the difference is... One requires far more sneaking, Grandpa Smedley seemed quite delighted by the prospect. Ah, I said. Right then, are we going to need any, special equipment for this? Perhaps some more help? Ah, a very wise idea, lad, Grandpa Smedley said. The car suddenly jerked, turning onto a larger street. Cars passed on either side, whizzing off to their separate destinations. Grandpa Smedley's little black automobile puttering along, happily in the center lane. Grandpa gave the wheel a few good twists, and we rode in silence. I kept glancing at the steering wheel, trying to sort out exactly what mechanism was controlling the vehicle. In my world, vehicles don't drive themselves, and men like Grandpa Smedley are generally kept in small padded rooms with lots of crayons. Eventually, partially to keep myself from going mad from frustration, I decided to try conversation again. So I said, why do you think that man tried to kill me? Because librarians got what they wanted from you, lad, Grandpa Smedley said. They have the sands, which we all knew would make their way to you eventually. Now that they have your inheritance, you're no longer an asset to them. In fact, you're a threat. They're right to be afraid of your talent. My talent? Breaking things. All Smedleys have a talent, my boy. It's part of your lineage. So, you have one of these talent things, I asked? Of course I do, lad, Grandpa Smedley said. I'm a Smedley, after all. What is it? Grandpa smiled modestly. Well, I don't like to brag, but it's quite a powerful talent indeed. I raised a skeptical eyebrow. You see, Grandpa Smedley said, I have the ability to arrive late to things. Ah, I said, of course. I know, I don't deserve such power, but I try to make good use of it. You are completely nuts, you know? It's always best to be blunt with people. Thank you, Grandpa Smedley said, as the car began to slow. The vehicle pulled up to the pumps at a small gas station. I didn't recognize the brand. The sign hanging above the ridiculously high prices simply depicted the image of an upside-down teddy bear. Our doors swung open on their own. Grandpa hopped out of his seat and rushed over to meet the station attendant, who was approaching to fill up the tank. I frowned, still sitting in the car. The attendant was dressed in a pair of dirty overalls and no shirt. He was chewing on the end of a piece of straw, as one might see a farmer doing in an old Hushlander movies, and he had on a large straw hat. Grandpa Smedley approached the man with an exaggerated look of nonchalance. Hello, good sir, Grandpa Smedley said, glancing around. I'd like a fillip, please. Of course, good sir, the attendant said, tipping his hat and accepting a couple of bills from Grandpa Smedry. The attendant approached the car, nodding to me, then took out one of the gasoline hoses and held it up against the side of the car. There was, I noticed, no sign of a gas tank. The attendant stood happily, gas hose pressed uselessly against the side of the car, whistling pleasantly to himself. "Come, Alcatraz," Grandpa Smedry said, walking up to the gas station door. "There isn't time." Finally, I just shook my head and climbed out of the car. Grandpa Smedry went inside, the screen door slamming behind him. I walked up, pulled open the screen door, threw the door handle over my shoulder as it broke off, then stepped inside after Grandpa Smedry. Another attendant, also with a straw in his mouth and a large hat on his head, stood leaning against the counter. The small store consisted of a single stand of snacks and a wall-sized cooler. The cooler was stocked completely with cans of motor oil. The sign said, "Enjoy a cool, refreshing drink." "Okay," I said, "where exactly are you people finding straw to chew on in the middle of the city? It can't be all that easy to get." "Quickly now, quickly!" Grandpa Smedry gestured frantically from the back of the store. Glancing at either side, he said in a louder voice, "I think I'll have a cool, refreshing drink." And he pulled open the cooler door. I froze in place. Now, it's very important to me that you understand that I am not stupid. It's perfectly all right if you end this book convinced that I'm not the hero that some reports claim me to be. However, I'd rather not everyone I meet presume me to be slow-witted. If that were the case, half of them would likely try and sell me insurance. The truth is, however, that even clever people can be taken by surprise so soundly that they are at a loss for words, or at least at a loss for words that make sense. "Gak!" I said. "You see, now before you judge me, place yourself in my position. Let's say you had watched a crazy old man open up a cooler full of oil cans. You would have undoubtedly expected to see, well, a cooler full of oil cans on the other side. You would not expect to see a room with a large hearth at the center, blazing with a cherry reddish-orange fire. You would not expect to see two men in full armor standing guard on either side of the door. Indeed, you would not expect to see a room instead of a cooler full of oil cans at all. Perhaps you would have said "Gak" too. "Gak!" I repeated. "Would you stop that boy?" Grandpa Smedry said. "There are absolutely no Gaks here. Why do you think we keep so much store around? Now come on." He stepped through the doorway into the room beyond. I approached slowly, then glanced at the other side of the open glass door, and saw oil cans cooling in their wall racks. I turned, looking through the doorway. It seemed as if I could see much more than I should have been able to. The two knights standing on either side of such a small doorway should have left no room to walk through, yet Grandpa Smedry had passed easily. I reached out, rapping lightly on one of the knights' breastplates. "Please don't do that," a voice said from behind the faceplate. "Oh," I said, "I'm sorry," still frowning at myself. I stepped into the room. It was a large chamber, far larger either side than could have possibly fit in the store. I could now see a rug set with throne-like chairs arranged to face the hearth in a homey manner. If your home is a medieval castle. To my left, there was a long, broad table, also set with chairs. "Sing!" Grandpa Smedry yelled. His voice echoed down the hallway to the right. "Sing!" If he breaks into song, I think I might have to strangle myself, I thought, cringing. "Lord Smedry!" a voice called from down the hallway. A huge figure rushed into sight. If you've never seen a large Mohican man in sunglasses, a tunic, and tights before, okay, I'm going to assume that you've never seen a large Mohican man in sunglasses, tunic, and tights. I certainly hadn't. The man, apparently named Singh, was a good 6.5 feet tall and had dark hair and dark skin. He looked like he could be from Hawaii or maybe Samoa or Tonga. He had the mass and girth of a linebacker and would have fit right in the football field, or at least he would have fit right in if he'd been wearing a football uniform rather than a tunic, a type of garment that I still think looks silly. Bastille has pictures of me wearing one. If you ask her, she'll probably show them to you gleefully. Of course, if you do that, I'll probably have to hunt you down and kill you or dress you in a tunic and take pictures of you. I'm still not sure which is worse. "Sing," Grandpa Smedry said. "We need to do a full library infiltration now." "A library infiltration, Sing said excitedly. Yes, Grandpa Smedry said. "Hurriedly. Go get your cousin, and both of you get into your disguises. I need to gather my lenses." Sing rushed back the way he had come. Grandpa Smedry walked over to the wall on the other side of the hearth. Not sure what else to do, I followed, watching as Grandpa Smedry knelt beside what appeared to be a large box made entirely of black glass. Grandpa Smedry put his hand on it, closed his eyes, and the front of the box suddenly shattered. I jumped back, but Grandpa Smedry ignored the broken shards of black glass. He reached into the chest and pulled out a tray wrapped in red velvet. He set this on top of the box, unwrapping the cloth and revealing a small book and about a dozen pairs of spectacles, each with a slightly different tinted glass. And now we're going to stop for page 43. And we'll continue the rest tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow.